We're in Elk Bend, Lemhi County, and I'm here with.
Daniel Schroedemeyer.
And have you noticed any changes in the climate over the course of your life living here?
Yes, just a little bit, but not that bad here. Last summer we went straight in May. We went straight in from the 60s to the 90s. This year's been a lot better. I don't know what it'll be next year, but I do believe there is climate change going on here. I've seen beetle problems up Iron Creek. The lower trees are starting to be affected because the pine beetles are not dying off. And before, we didn't have that big a problem. Now, a lot of the forest back that way is turning green. Oh, I'm sorry, turning brown from green.
Got it. And does the temperature change affect your day-to-day life, or?
Not really. I'm outside quite a bit. When it gets over 106, 107, then I'll stay in my shade trees. And that's what I did. I planted a whole bunch of trees here, and because of that, over that way, I have a lot of shade in the afternoon, where some people just sit in the sun or their homes just are baked by the sun. So yes, I've seen a gradual increase in the temperature during the summertime.
And has fire season affected you?
Oh gosh, yes. Fire season affects me, not here necessarily, but if there are fires up in Montana, Oregon, British Columbia, Montana, Alberta, the winds blow it this way. So a couple of years ago, we had so much smoke, it was really hard to be outside. Mm-hmm. You couldn't see the mountains around you. So yes, the fire season is bad.
And when did you first hear about climate change?
1978, when I was down at UCSB taking classes, and somebody said, hey, there's going to be a climate change. And I'm going, well, who cares? I'm 22 years old. It won't affect me. Now I'm starting to see it. And I've been an advocate for climate change and it happening all my years. I was a teacher for 28 years, so I was teaching my classes about climate change.
Where at?
Place called Los Prietos Boys Camp down right behind Santa Barbara.
And what would you teach them?
I would teach them how to respect the country that they're giving. I was talking to juveniles that really have never been in the forest in their lives. So my job that I took for what I thought my job was to try to teach them about the world around them as much as possible. How important trees are, how important the rivers are, how important that dams are blocking rivers so salmon can't get all the way up, And again, because of cars and everything like that, we've increased the CO2 in the air, and emissions are still bad. And growing up in Los Angeles, I was affected by something called smog in the San Fernando Valley, where, again, I was living 2 miles from the mountains and you couldn't see them because there was so much stuff because of the cars back then.
Yeah. And what do you think we should do about climate change?
Get on it right away and put pressure on our congressmen, senators, and the entire world, which seems to be a lot farther ahead than we are here in the United States. If you look at the news, it's always way down on the topics. It's not at the top. It's always way down. So people don't really realize it. Let's face it, if you're out all day and it looks like this, you're not thinking about climate change. You're not being affected. But I live also along the ocean, and I've seen the ocean rise just a little bit. Not much, but it's starting to happen. Mm-hmm. So.
You said you moved here 40 years ago. Why did you choose to move here?
My folks chose here when I was still living down in Southern California. So I've been coming up here for 40 years because of my folks who moved from the San Fernando Valley up to Twin Falls and then came up here all summer. So they saw an incredible change in this area because when we were here, there was nothing except that one house where I live over that way. So yeah, we've seen quite a bit of change around this area. Not much in salmon though. When we first got here, there were 3,000 people, and now there's 3,500. Mm-hmm. So there has been a huge change in this region.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
Was that okay?
Yeah, no, that was